Great. So I think we have started recording,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we can begin. Nice to meet you, Soo Yun. It's great to see the kind of work that you have done, um, the things that you have done in Google, and things that you're doing in Cisco and all. So my team was like really happy that we're doing this podcast. So they
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that okay, let's hear about you. So it's really great to have you.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, it's my pleasure to meet you, Sanchit. It's my first podcast, so I always wanted to do this. So I was very excited. Thank you for having me today.
That's great. It's great to hear that we are the ones who you're having with first podcast. It will maybe it would go down in history like that. Great. So yeah, let's start. Design. It's a vast field. We'll discuss lots of things. But
Mm-hmm.
first of all, I would want to know what your role in Cisco is. What impact you are building there. What kind of things you're doing there. So we're interested to know about that.
Sure. So I'm a lead designer at Cisco. I have more than 12 years design experience,
Nice.
and I worked at so many diverse companies. So in Cisco, in Cisco IT design team, I'm driving simplification and business transformation to empower Cisco's 140,000 employees to do their best work.
Wow.
So as a lead designer in experience design and research team, I'm redesigning and reshaping our primary internet services to increase Cisco's employees' productivity and engagement worldwide. The products include homepage, framework, and directory, website designs, and also search.
Nice. You're able to do it for, you already have a customer base of what, 140,000 people. So that's really great. That's a huge
Yeah.
impact that you're putting up.
Thank you. Pretty big.
Yeah, it's pretty big. How do you do, your studies, your design research, or, how do you research people when you have to do something of that magnitude? You already, the product is already for inside organization. So I believe that people would be really willing to answer things. But for UX research, I've known designers a lot. So designers are basically highly introvert. So sometimes they don't ask much questions that way. How do you do that? How do you come up with research in these areas?
So we are currently using various different methods that sometimes we are doing our internal research. We have dedicated research team in Cisco Design IT. So they're working on like surveys or the usability test, competitive analysis. Then we are collecting all the data, and based on the data, we are making the design. So the feedback of the users will be reflected to our design, like in UI UX design. For example, the usability testing, we are interviewing like 8 to 10 internal employees, and then we are asked some questions about the tasks they can find these areas or the screens or buttons, so specific areas, and we are asking about like what is your preferred options, and can you reach this screen without any problems, something like that. And then based on the design data, we are making the design into the UI UX.
Nice. So do you always get the answers that you're looking for, or is it sometimes that you believe that it has happened with us as well when we were doing UX research? Sometimes we would feel that people are not maybe answering properly, or they may be answering what we want to hear, because that's the thing in user experience research, or whenever the teams research, sometimes you don't exactly know what people are thinking. Especially if something is a mass market product, people would want to give you answers which you really want to listen. So there are different teams or organizations which really do research differently. So Apple, is one of those companies which sometimes do not listen to market trends or market
Oh, really?
research. But they go deep into data and everything. So, but yeah, how do you do that? Do you find, and I've asked this before from someone else as well, do you find your own intuition? Do you build your own intuition into when you're building a product that you feel that maybe this is right, or is it purely data driven that you'll get the data and you'll work on it?
Yeah, I think in our team it's purely user feedback driven. So the key is listening the user's voice and reflect their thoughts into our product. So I didn't get any expected answers from users. When I do the research or usability testing, I always get unexpected answers from the users. That's very interesting. Everyone has totally different viewpoint because of maybe their experience or the background. So that there are so many interesting aspects from the research, and to find their problems while using the product, it's our the goal. So we can fix that problem before we launch something. Yeah, so it's totally user voice based into our product, and that's the key to improve our product.
Nice, very nice. So yeah, it's interesting that sometimes people give different viewpoints.
Yeah. In addition that, when I make the product, I always talk about this thing with the team. So we know our preference already. We are talking about the product. We are saying that, oh, I like this option and I don't like this option all the times. But it's very, we should be careful about that because we are not the users. We are designing something where we are like making as the dev side. So when I make the product, we should listen the user's voice more than our thoughts. And then based on the user's voice, yeah, we should reflect that.
Exactly. Do you think experience comes into play with this? Having an experience, over working over many different kind of products over 12 long years. Sometimes things are very easy for you when you hear in user research, then that maybe there was this similar problem, which we corrected before as well. Or is it like new challenge every time because the trends change?
Can you repeat again?
Yeah, I mentioned that it's something that you have an experience of about 12 years. So sometimes your mind would say that, okay, I already know an answer to the question which I'm putting up, maybe, but people have given different answers. Do you go with do you have answers ready sometimes with you as well because of your experience? Or do you find new challenges like almost every time, like in most of the answers that are given? So
yeah, it depends on the questions. Sometimes I know the answer, then we are not doing the research because we already have the history, or we know the behaviors of the users already. If there are enough data we have, we might not do the research because it will spend more effort and time into our team. We are trying to define undefined questions from the users. So if something is not clear to us, then we are go with the research. Hopefully that answers.
Yeah, exactly. So do you use gamification when you are building as well? Gamification of palaces where people would come and use the product more efficiently, or they would want to use the product again and again. Do you use that as well?
If you are talking about like the algorithm we are using, so for example, platform like YouTube or Instagram are something that people spend a long time and they want to use the application more and more because they are using the algorithm to continue to analyze and users like tendency and keep suggesting contents that the users might like. So if people are interested in the suggestions, they will stay longer. But even platform is like having so many bugs on it, or if users feel uncomfortable while using it, but usually lose the interest and might not want to use the platform next time. So yeah, that's my goal. I'm minimizing the user's problem and making comfortable space for the users so that they want to stay in the product space more now. And that is my goal. And I think that is the good design.
Right. Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I was looking for. Moving forward, I saw that, you have been associated with Google Drive's mobile experience elevation as well. Do you want to let us know that, what exactly was that? How was that mobile experience built, or, it was improvised a lot? How did you or your team handle it?
Sure. So I worked at Google Drive team as a mobile UX design lead last year. And there I shape a future of productivity and collaboration in Drive team for billion users. And you might know already about Google Drive, or you may use the app now. Google Drive is the part of Google Workspace. It is a safe place to back up or access all your files for any your devices. So you can easily invite others to view, edit, or leave comments on any of your files or folders using your mobile device. So it's a really great app. So as soon as I joined Google, engineering team was very excited. They were waiting for me to join Google for a long time because the absence of the mobile designer for about a year. So they were eager to start the mobile project as soon as possible when I jumped in Google Drive team. So that was really fun. In mobile team, there are about 70 engineers in iOS and Android. So I was only one mobile specific designer. So I had many responsibilities to lead the design team and the dev team as well. So I launched the various features such as drag and drop, widget design, and a lock screen for iOS 16 launches. And I also designed for iOS dark mode, one of the great features.
Nice. Thank you for those features. I've been using Google Drive for a very long time. Yeah. Awesome. Even before, when it was not a part of Google Workspace, I was a Gmail user from, I guess, 2003 or 4, as soon as it launched. My friend in US sent me an invite. He was in Google and he sent me an invite and I immediately joined. So I have one of those rare email addresses that people could find from their name on Gmail. So yeah, I've been using Google Drive from very long, and I think your impact is great. All those features that you have built are really, really great. So I think we needed that. So yeah, that's great. How do you handle teams? You are you're managing teams. You mentioned that you're only one and there are like 70 engineers. Or at the same time, you may be handling the team right now where you'll be having designers as well. How do you interact with the team? How do you handle the team with UX and all and everything? What is your management style?
Yeah, that was a good question. So when I first joined Google, I was burnt out a little bit because there are so many questions, and every morning I got so many emails and the messages that from the dev team for every single product we need to launch. So I was like, oh no, I cannot handle this like this. So I started to run the design office hour. So I have the ability availabilities in the calendar for about 2 hours in every day. Then dev team come to my design office hour and ask some questions, and I can answer them. So that makes me easy to work with those 70 engineers. And also, since there are so many uncertainties in design and they have so many questions, so I did more prefer to do more presentations to the dev team in a group. So I don't need to answer that in a single meeting. So I could answer all the questions at once as a presentation to 70 engineers.
Great. So did you use this 2 hours together, or was it like 1 hour or 1 hour after? How did you give them 2 hours, or was it like 2 hours on a Monday or something, or was it 2 hours daily? They could come to you in those 2 hours specifically and ask you as many questions as they could, or give you suggestions. Yeah.
Every morning I ran the design office hour 10 to 12 Eastern time, so the dev team members can join. And I made the sign up sheet. So there was like 15-minute slot, 30-minute slot, or 1 hour slot. If someone is assigning for 15 minutes, they can come to the office hour for the specific time spot, and then I can answer those questions. And then after answering the question, next dev team member can join for like 30 minutes to talk. So I can answer for the specific feature or any questions for launching the products.
That's great. Do designers think very differently than developers? Do you find any difference in synchronization there? How do you handle how do you at times handle, like, they work a lot on very different logic or a mindset than designers. How do you find yourself, if you're in a spot, if engineers are saying that, okay, we feel that it should not be this way, but your research says that no, it should be this way. Has that happened? And if that has, how do you handle that?
Yeah, sometimes it happens because when I'm designing something, we are like, as a designer, I'm focusing more visually attractive, like if the design is beautiful or not. But sometimes it's not working on the dev side because of the functionality or the feasibility. So that's the key to make lots of communication between each other, and then what is most feasible, and in the limited our efforts and the time, how we can make the products more effective and more beautifully. And most of us respect the data from the researchers. So we respect the user's voice, their feedback. So when we are done for specific research or usability testing, we are bringing the data to dev team. So here is our suggestions because of this user's feedback. And then most of the dev team respect those data.
Great. You came from Korea to US,
yes.
Right? South Korea to US. How do you, in user experience or user interfaces, sometimes we get to that challenge that, how do we design the same thing for different cultures? How do you face that challenge, that we design, for different cultures? Just for example, some cultures really like the color, they associate white color with something else or red with something else.
Right.
But some cultures may relate it negatively. How do you handle that? Do you follow the best practices, or do you build for different cultures?
Trying to learn about the different cultures, history, and any kind of restrictions. That is as a designer, that is really important thing to learn about other cultures, thoughts, and any kind of their behaviors. And I think the difference between Asian or the Western design is that this is my very personal notion. About 10 years ago, when I just started the design, especially the UX design, that was a really new concept in Asian. and European and American design were very much more developed. So now, as a judge of various Asian awards, I'm a judge of Asian awards right now. I have came across many Asian design works, and I'm often surprised that the number of really great works from Asia. If there is one thing I found different, that is that Western design has clear theme and emphasis one purpose, and Eastern design puts emphasis on harmony with the surroundings. I think this is a reflection of language or cultural differences too. So, for example, I have read about a research that experimenting with different between Eastern and Western ways of thinking. So, for example, people in West say that fishes are in a fishbowl. On the other hand, people in the East say there are fish in a fishbowl. So the West people see the subject and focuses on it, but the East people see the whole thing and values the relationship between objects. And occasionally looking at Western design, I find that there is an advantage to organize the details. But the Eastern design, there are like perspective of looking at the whole and reading the flows has been developed. So that is the difference. So I always trying to understand those differences. And when I make some design for Asia or the Western, I completely thinking about those differences and reflect the design with them.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, I remember that, when we in Asia are quite different, India's, we as you mentioned, we follow environment or, things around us, we are quite in harmony with that.
Yeah.
And I remember that, when we were doing designs first, especially the Indian designers would put lots of colors in their designs. And I see that with Brazil as well, they put lots of colors. They have, it's like our cultures sometimes are highly colorful. We like colors around and things like that. And we would put that into websites and user interfaces when we were doing things. But, ultimately, people started following different cultures, different things. And I think, it's like a global village now, how most of us work. So we follow like global trends now, how things work right now. So yeah, I mean, Asian design is a bit different. So speaking of that, you are, you mentioned that, and I know that you are a jury on Asian Design Awards. We want to know about Asian, if people want to know what Asian Design Awards is, and how are you handling it? What are you looking for? People who are going to submit their designs, and yeah, please let us know about that.
Okay, so I have selected as a judge in a Asian Design Prize this year, and I have done. I have experiences as a design lead and design judge for the various design awards in Asia as well. So when I'm looking for the entries for the awards, I'm always looking for designs with good design sense. It is not difficult to get sources or look up trendy designs right now, so anyone can copy those things, those stuff into the design. But a good design sense is something that you can get through series of trainings. So I don't think you can have it in a short period of the time without any efforts. Anyone can learn design program like Sketches or Figma, Adobe Suite. And each most of the companies have their own design systems. Companies have the guidelines for design styles. So with the guideline, and there are well-made assets as well. So sometimes there is no need to start to design from the scratch. You just need to put those things together. But that is the key. Putting together things sounds like easy, but that requires a design sense a lot. So let's say if you're visual designer, you need to know how to distinguish the right visuals and bring them together to form one beautiful piece. I also looking for unique style of design. So maybe this is for the UX designer. I'm always looking for the improvement made for the users, like how quick and easy the users can use the product. So I'm always focusing more on those kind of abilities.
Great. So people know that what you're looking for.
Yes.
Also, one more thing that with the user experience design, it's mostly about how are you making the user feel exactly. What's the feel? Have you captured the essence that's coming out of when people are using the design product? So, just for example, when we use Airbnb, we feel that we are inside that experience, that we can see those rooms and homes, and experiences that we can take there. And at the same time, when we use Uber, we know that we have to get done from it very fast. So the time spent, so the time spent on Airbnb would be more, or if we are like in a shopping site, it would be more. But a user doesn't want to spend much more time on Uber. They want to get everything done in a minute or so. With the are you looking for user experience in designs as well? I think you mentioned that, but are you going to be judging for that as well?
Yes. Yeah, that is the one I'm looking for as well. So I could say some apps that needs to have the people, someone can stay longer enough. But as you mentioned, like Uber, people want to get the answer as soon as possible. But they might really want to using the app more often. So like the number of the apps and the credibility of the app, like and how the user is comfortable to use the app, that is the key, and that's what I'm looking for.
Great. Soo Yun, I want to know about your journey in design. How did you choose this? How did you find that this is something that you want to do? What's the journey behind? When maybe you were in Korea, you learned design. We want to know your journey. How did you come here? And you're doing so great in this field. So journey matters to us. How did you come into this?
Sure. So I didn't study graphic design or any UX design before in Korea. I came to the United States when I was a high school student. So my design career started from Binghamton University. I studied computer science and graphic design, and I got master's degree at communication design at Pratt Institute. Since I really love art and computer, I thought, maybe graphic design is perfect major, so I can choose. And then after that, I experienced various internships such as MTV Networks and USA Today while I was a student. And my first job was a multimedia design agency while working with lots of great fashion industry companies like Chanel or Michael Kors. I was able to work with the clients, with the beautiful companies, but I was not interested in any fashion at that moment. I was more interested in technologies like mobile or digital rather than fashion. So I moved to one of the America's most major children channels, Nickelodeon, and I started my career as an app designer. And in Nickelodeon, I launched several mobile applications, including Nick Jr. app and Nick mobile application, which was winning the Emmy Awards. And after that, I created a music video maker application as a founding member at startup company called Triller. And I was able to create the popular app that is currently used about 250 million users. Then I joined IBM, which was my life-changing event to develop my career in the tech industry. So in there, I also created lots of mobile applications to improve the productivity and working environment for IBM employees. After that, I joined Google Drive team. I worked with lots of engineers in both iOS and Android. And finally, I joined Cisco. In Cisco IT design team, I'm leading the design designers as well and creating lots of intranet service applications and the websites.
That's a great journey. So, multimedia websites. Do you mean Flash? Were you using Flash, Adobe Flash?
Oh yeah, the Adobe Flash. That is a really great application. I used it for Multimedia Plus and Nickelodeon as well. So when you see the promotions on the website in Nickelodeon, they're making the GIF file. So I used the Flash for making those. It was
Really
cute.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Flash used to be great. Now it's not seen anywhere.
Yeah.
It's been taken over by
That's sad.
different serious applications like After Effects and also. But yeah,
Yes.
I have got my hands dirty on Flash. We used to make amazing things. But if you remember, like I think we started around the same time. We started our journey at the same time. So if you remember, there was this thing made in Flash where there used to be a cartoon that came into a Flash
Oh yeah.
tool, and it broke down everything. So yeah, that was really nice. Flash used to bring those memories.
I remember that I created the matching game using Flash, and also the holiday cards for the Nickelodeon using Flash. That was really fun too.
Yeah, it always was fun. You're doing Soo Yun, you're doing mentorship as well. You're training people. So can you let us know if people want to get mentored by you? What are you looking for in people, and what have you done? As a please let us know about that.
Sure. So I was super lucky. Last year, I recognized as a gold winner of the Mentor of the Year by Women Tech Global Awards in 2022. So I have a strong passion for cultivating the talents and mentoring. And I believe being a mentor is another natural and active demonstration of leadership behavior. So I'm doing it a lot. So right now, I think I'm doing about 5 hours every week with mentees. So I regularly spend 5 hours every week, each with various backgrounds and locations and career levels. And I also hosted tons of university relations events and created partnership with multiple universities in the United States. And I was leading various events with high school students as well. So it was involving like portfolio reviews, exhibitions, career fairs, speaking engagement about my career journey, and sharing UI UX work as a speaker and the panelist. And sometimes I got a message from my mentee like, "You changed my life." Sometimes like they are saying, "I got a new job," or "I got promoted. I successfully negotiated the higher salaries," something like that. So I just give a guidance to them or share just of my little bit of experiences, but sometimes it was like a huge help for me, and that is also my huge rewards. I love to see their success and happy to grow together with my mentees. So if anyone is interested about talking about my experiences or they need the guidelines or direction, feel free to reach out to me. Maybe in LinkedIn. I also several mentor site in ADP, the mentorship site, as well as the Adobe, not Adobe, sorry. I forgot the name of that, but yeah, there are so many things. You can reach out to me. Design at org and ADP list, UXPA International, and also AIGA portfolio review site. You can just reach out to me if you are wanting to talk about the mentorships.
We would put all those links here. We would put
Oh,
all those
really?
links to
Awesome.
everything.
Great.
One thing with mentorship is that all the things you mentioned, you feel really great that you have changed people's lives,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. But there is another factor to it. When I have mentored people, I sometimes have found that
Mm-hmm.
when I opened their vision, they started to become really really good, and I wanted to one up them. I was like, okay, I told them few things, but now
Yes.
they're reaching my level.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing they're doing really great things. So I wanted to one up that level so that I can keep
Uh-huh.
mentoring. So I think when you mentor people, it you also elevate yourself
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's too true. Yeah, everyone's the speed and the achievement of as a designer is different. Like their career journey is so various. So I have so many same experiences. One of my mentees had really nice job and they promoted and with the higher title, and then they reach out to me. Oh, maybe I think this is the good opportunity for you. Can I refer you? So I was like, yeah, this is really nice.
That's great. Um, do product designs influence you? Just for example, when I was starting up, in the field, I was really influenced by what Apple was building at that time. But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, Brown as well, or when you used to
Mm-hmm.
look at Nike shoes, and there are some Indian brands I used to be like highly influenced by.
Mm-hmm.
Um, did some of these products like influence you to like make things, make great things?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's in the journey of few designers, they get
Mm-hmm.
influenced by few products and they want to make something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. So the product design like Nike or Brown. So from my background, my major in college was graphic design. So I started my career as a print design, and now I work more digitally as a UX designer. So graphic design and UX design, both designs inspired me a lot. And my master thesis was about an interactive menu design for Madison Square Park restaurant. I remember I delivered the message how I can provide both physical and digital experiences to users and how to harmonize both designs to delight users. In case of Nike, it shows very interesting aspects. I know some of the employees. Dan is an engineering manager at Nike right now, who worked with me at the startup company called Trailer, and he made AR app for Nike. He's
Mhm.
really nice. So in Nike app, if you take a picture of your food, Nike will measure your foot size and recommend a shoe style that matches it. So you can also customize your own shoes. So these days, when there is a lot of online shopping, such as digital design, has become a must thing should have. But at the same time, physical design should be functional and beautiful as well. So I also always think that how we can deliver more convenience to users. I always think about how to make life better through both physical and design, both physical and digital design in everyday life for the users.
Great. So you want to amalgamate those. Yeah, that's great. We built a similar app for one of our
Mm-hmm.
clients where it measures, I just need to put my mobile phone on a tablet and then I just need to stand in front and it would
Mm-hmm.
measure my body size and it
Oh,
would
great.
give me recommendations on different
Wow.
e-commerce sites that how um, what kind of clothes would suit me.
Wow.
um,
That's
that was
amazing.
just that was just one step. It would give me my fit,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to know what clothes would look better on me. Maybe that was the
Mm-hmm.
next step, but we
Mm-hmm.
we stopped on that. We gave that app to the clients.
Mm-hmm.
and they ran it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's really great to know that you worked over these things, you
Mm-hmm.
um, done these things.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see design evolving? The future coming in front, especially at the time of generative AI and all. How do you see
Mm-hmm.
design is evolving? How it is helping us, or how would we build the future?
So yeah, so I think that is very interesting. You just mentioned that like reading the user's mind through our products is really like future of design. And there are so many interesting things right now, AR, VR, and ChatGPT. So I think using the latest technology is very important for the future of design. I heard many questions from my mentees or the students like the maybe those technologies can replace the design job for the future, but I don't think that.
No,
The
it won't.
design job is really creative things, but maybe that can be different. So someone do the design versus someone do the design with the newest technology. Um, so the winner will be the designers who know how to use the new technology like AR, VR, ChatGPT, machine learning, something like that. So we should always aware about that and try to learn the new technologies all the time as a designer. Um, and yeah, and my vision is as well. And my vision for the future is to become a designer with more influence. And I am so proud myself being a designer, and I have great passion. So I want to keep challenge. So I want to be a positive influence or give help to many people with my design experiences and skills. And I want to just influence many people as possible. And I also want to learn the new technologies as well.
That's great. Yeah. With the new generative AI technologies, I think um, only people, when sometimes people ask me the same question
Mhm.
that, do you think it would take jobs away?
Yeah.
It would, but it would take only those jobs away which are like standardized jobs where people do one thing daily. If people have to do like one thing daily, and a robot or an AI algorithm can replace that.
I
It
agree.
would, it cannot take creative workspace away, because how designers think or how engineers build things, they would be always many steps ahead than
Hmm.
what AI can build. AI can build something, but designers could change the trend with their really deep
Hmm.
thought. How they build stuff. So
Hmm.
yeah, where people have to use their emotional, logical, and many different kinds of minds. Obviously, AI is building that as well, but it you know people who run those things or people who work like that could never be replaced. Their jobs could never be
Hmm.
replaced. And
Sure.
there's just a common thing: no one else can design those things.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
clients are looking to design those things themselves or code those things themselves,
Hmm.
maybe it won't be that great. So market would keep on changing and making huge progress that way.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Totally agree. The design field will have more in demand than now. So no one can replace the job. It will be having more higher demand and will become a profession with prospects. And I think designers should strive to create new design value with interest in various industries rather than just simply being a visualization aspects.
Exactly. This question has come to me very late in the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
which is what are the best traits for a UX designer to have? Maybe personality traits, something like people should be naturally curious is one of the
Mm-hmm.
traits. They should be curious about how this thing runs or how people are using it or how people are like interacting with this. That's maybe
Mm-hmm.
one of those things. But what other things do you think that maybe UX designers should have in their personality, or they should build that thing in them?
Mm-hmm. So I think as a UX designer, observing is very important to think. Observing users' behaviors, what is the obstacles, what is the challenge from the users, and always trying to improve those kind of stuff. I think there is no 100 perfect product. So if there is 1% of the problem, we should try to fix that and improve the product all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, someone asked me the same question, what do you think design is? So I mentioned the similar thing which you mentioned. Design always means that you're always improvising. You're
Right.
always you're always bettering the experience or bettering the product or the platform. So
Yeah, there's no stop.
yeah. So yeah, that's what it is about. Soo Yun, what personalities or the leaders or are the people that you follow, and you feel that they change your perspective, or they've helped you grow? So just for example, for me, I really followed work of Dieter Hams. If you know about him, he was the one who created like really amazing brown products, and Steve Jobs, Johnny Ive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they have huge impact on our lives. So yeah, who do you follow?
So maybe um so can I tell you about a great man who lived a long time ago?
Of course, it's Leonardo da Vinci. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can.
So during the Joseon dynasty in South Korea, about 500 years ago, there was Lee Sun-shin. He was a general who led the Korean War to big victory. And he developed a new weapon, which is turtle ship. So he's my hero. I always remember his bravery. So I wanted to live like him with lots of brave.
Amazing.
But there are so many people who helped me in design career. So if I pick the real people in the real world right now, I'd say Christine Wisniewski, who is my really great co-worker, vice president in Cisco IT design team. She is the inspired leader for me. And I met her in the final interview for IBM for a long time ago. And we had a meeting at hotel rooftop for the interview. And it got me a surprise things because it is something new for me. She wanted to talk with me casually and more comfortable place. So that she picked the hotel lobby and she explained to me everything about IBM design team she lead and how the team has found, what the team culture is like, and shared her thoughts and envision in the organization. Then she said she wants me to join the team and ask about my thoughts about it. So I felt very respected. So I joined the team finally. And that was my life-changing event. I grew a lot in IBM. I got 2 promotions in just 5 years, and I had so many fun projects with Christine. And after many years, I changed my job, Google and Cisco, but now I work with her again in Cisco. I really like her vision and trust her a lot. So personally, she's my influencer.
Great. She'll be happy to hear that.
Great.
South Korea nowadays have huge influence over with K dramas and K-pop.
Yeah.
Even I look at few of them like Reply 1988, if you're aware of, and there have been a few others as well.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we know about Joseon Dynasty as well. We have seen like
Awesome.
I forgot the name, Empress Key or something, and I looked at that drama. So
Oh, great. Love to hear
yeah,
that.
yeah. So yeah, do you want to say something? Do you want to say something to the people before we can like look at the last question or something?
Oh, sure. So first of all, thank you so much for listening my podcast. This is really new experience for me, and for the viewers, 2023 is a tough time for many designers in many ways. Perhaps you went through a layoff yourself, or maybe your close friend or coworker lost their jobs. However, designers are profession with high potential for development and high demand. So I hope that we can get through this difficult time and use it as a stepping stone to achieve greater success together.
That's a great message. We will. We definitely will. Uh, okay. It was, Soo Yun, thank you very much to be here. It was really nice talking to you. And I believe that we could do few more podcasts in a couple of months where we can go into
Mhm.
much deeper insights, like, how people think. I could share my ideas, you could share your ideas, or maybe my team can
Mhm.
share their ideas, what we found when we were working on something like that. Maybe we'll
Mhm.
do a fun podcast like that later on.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Right. It has been great knowing you and learning from you. So I hope that we'll continue this later
Yes.
on. Right.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it
Right.
was my pleasure to meeting you and spending time with you. Thank you so much.
Same here. Thank you. Thank you. Good
Thank
day.
you. Bye
Bye.
bye.